We've all seen this clueless child telling us to become trad wives.
18 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be.
As a former Mormon trad wife of 24 years, I would have said the exact same thing when I was 19 years old. It would have been absolutely a dream come true. Everybody should find your Prince Charming. That didn't end well. My Mormon returned missionary husband left me and abandoned our family over a 19-year-old escort.
This lifestyle, you become a stay-at-home mom, and while the concept is great, you get to spend time with your children, you tend to the house, and the finances are taken care of, in reality, that is not the case. What happens is after a couple of years, your husband will start to resent you and his children.
My husband abandoned me and our 4 kids for a 19-year-old escort. I went to Trader Joe's to buy myself a bag of groceries, swiped my card, and it was declined. I should have had a ton of money in that account, and it was all gone.
I'm 41 years old, and I am a former trad wife. I was married at 20. I found out a week after I graduated high school that I was pregnant. My ex-husband and I got married the next fall when our oldest was 8 months old. And then we had 3 kids within 3.5 years by the time we were 24.
In the last video, we were talking about all these young women going for the whole trad wife thing, like getting married at like 19, dropping out of college, walking away from careers, just deciding that, you know what, maybe the whole climb the corporate ladder for 40 years deal isn't actually the dream they signed up for. And look, I get it. I mean, I don't know about you, but if someone came up to me and said, hey, you never have to worry about making money again, ever, I'm at least going to take a peek at that brochure, you know? I'm not saying I'd sign up, but I'm looking. But here's the thing that kept nagging at me after I posted that. Like, what actually happens if it doesn't work? Because the internet is real good at showing you the highlight reel of how to become a trad wife. The dresses, the sourdough, the husband coming home, the whole maybe feminism lied to us vibe. But, watching women talk about what happens when that whole arrangement just ends? Yeah, that is a completely different algorithm, my friend. Like, you will not find that on your Pinterest board. And I need to tell you about the kind of crazy that's out here. Like, imagine this. You spend 24 years, 2.5 decades, building your entire life around a marriage, and your husband cheats on you with a 19-year-old escort. Just like that. And the woman we just watched says eventually the person who's supposed to be providing for you just starts resenting you, resenting the kids, resenting that you're even there. And then, can you imagine going to the grocery store? You fill up your cart with stuff for the week. You get to the register, you go to pay, and the card gets declined. Because the person controlling all the money just wiped the account. Gone. I mean, what do you even do in that moment? You've got groceries sitting there, people behind you in line, and you've got nothing. And that's the part of this whole conversation that I just don't think we talk about enough. Because leaving isn't just emotionally brutal when you've been financially tied to someone for that long. For some women, it means literally rebuilding your entire economic existence from scratch. Except, here's the kicker. You're not starting from scratch at 22. You're starting at 35, or 45, or 50. Maybe you've got kids hanging off your arm. Maybe you haven't had a job in a decade. Maybe you don't have a single dollar in savings because that was his job to handle. And now you're trying to jump back into an economy where people who've been working this entire time are looking at rent prices and grocery bills and childcare costs like, is this a prank? Are we being punked right now? So I guess this video is almost like the other half of that last one. Last time, we asked why women are choosing this. Now, I kind of want to hear from the women who've already lived through it, and lived through the part where it falls apart. And just to be clear, I'm not saying being a trad wife is automatically good or bad. Honestly, that's the most boring, surface-level take you could have on this whole thing. What I actually want to know is, what happens when the entire lifestyle you built your world around just stops working? And suddenly, you have to figure out exactly how much that independence actually costs. Because, yeah, the exit plan? Turns out it's way more expensive than the internet made it look. Like, not even close.
My husband abandoned me and our 4 kids for a 19-year-old escort. I went to Trader Joe's to buy myself a bag of groceries, swiped my card, and it was declined. I should have had a ton of money in that account, and it was all gone. It was gone. My name had never been on one of our homes. My name hadn't been on our vehicles. My name wasn't on the Mercedes that I was driving at the time that our marriage ended. He was able to evict me from the condo that we were renting together because I didn't even exist on the lease, not even as a roommate, not even as a pet. He just canceled the lease. I was just some weirdo living in the condo that Jake had canceled, and so the apartment evicted me. I'd always kind of thought in my head too, like, being a homemaker gives me a lot of skills that I bet would translate into a job. So I right away put together a resume, talked about all of the work that I had done in our family businesses, and went out and started interviewing for jobs. And there was not a person in this entire fucking world who wanted to hire a 44, 45, 46-year-old who had been a stay-at-home mom since the time she was 20. So my first and actually only job that I had after my divorce was $11 an hour, working as an assistant in an elementary school classroom 4 hours a day. You did the math, $44 a day. The only reason that my rent is paid this month is, first of all, my TikTok followers are constantly supporting my content, and I have 3 separate jobs: sales job, furniture flipping business, and I'm still working my Mormon essential oils MLM. I work 7 days a week. I have no retirement. I live in a family member's guest house that they could sell at any moment. I've only existed in the credit world for about 4 years, so I can't finance anything.
As a former trad wife, bird brain, pick-me woman, here's what happens once you get married. So in this lifestyle, you become a stay-at-home mom. And while the concept is great, you get to spend time with your children, you tend to the house, and the finances are taken care of, in reality, that is not the case. What happens is after a couple of years, your husband will start to resent you and his children. He will weaponize everything against you, such as the fact that you don't bring in any income. He will dismiss all the work that you actually do and only focus on the money to make you feel bad. Men now more than ever want this lifestyle, okay? Because they know it's the only way to trap a woman. And you think if he gets the opportunity to cheat, he's not going to take it. Let's say you're in that position. What are you going to do? Do you have the money to leave him and start your life? No, because he controls the finances, and you can do everything right, okay? You can look good, you can work hard, you can have as many kids as he wants, all right? The perfect woman, and it doesn't matter. And a lot of husbands will get jealous of their kids because for the first time in their life, they have to center someone other than themselves. And now their wife has to take care of someone other than him. You are screwed. You probably have to go back to a low-paying job. He gets to go and live his life, and you have to still take care of the children. It'll take you years to recover financially, and if you get child support, it is not that much, okay? Definitely not enough to have a good living.
You don't even fucking work though. You're a stay-at-home mom. Like, it's not like you contribute nothing. You haven't contributed anything for fucking years. Like,
you don't. Being a stay-at-home mom is a job.
It's not a real job.
Yes,
it's not
it
a real
is.
job.
Yes,
you literally get to wake up whenever the fuck you want and just like fuck off all day.
Okay,
you don't do
but
shit.
Listen,
you don't do shit.
That's not what marriage is about. Like
I don't care.
I should
It's
know
supposed to be
where our money is going.
You shouldn't know anything.
Yes, I
You're
should.
like barely even adult. You're like another child. It's like I have 4
You're
kids.
right.
Now, I like to think of myself as a pretty calm person. Trust me, I can be calm. But oh my God, I cannot even begin to tell you how pissed off that last video made me. Ladies, I need you to listen to me for a second. I know the trad wife thing can sound good. It looks good. And like I said earlier, I completely understand the appeal of somebody looking you dead in the face and saying, "Don't worry about working, baby. I got us." Okay, lovely. Where do I sign? But please, when a man starts telling you that you do nothing because you're a stay-at-home mom and that you're basically just another one of the kids, girl, please run, because you are dealing with some type of demon here. And trust me, I'm not even religious, so the fact that you got me pulling out demons means you've really irritated me. Because what do you mean she does nothing? Who is raising your children? Who is cooking? Who is cleaning? Who remembers that one kid has a dentist appointment Thursday, the other one needs something for school tomorrow that they conveniently remembered at 9:47 tonight, there's no milk, Somebody needs new shoes, the laundry has somehow reproduced again, and everybody in that house keeps asking one person where everything is. That's not doing nothing. That's labor. It just doesn't come with a paycheck. And that's what makes this arrangement potentially so financially dangerous. Because the risk of fully depending on somebody the way some of these trad wife videos encourage isn't necessarily that your husband is secretly evil. He could be a wonderful man. The risk is that once the person earning all the money starts believing that they're the only person contributing anything of value, now we have a problem. Because financially, they have receipts. Their name is on the paycheck. Their resume kept growing. Their retirement account kept growing. Their earning potential kept growing. Meanwhile, your contribution might have been enormous, but you can't exactly walk into a bank and say, well, I raised 3 emotionally stable children and kept this household functioning for 14 years, so, mortgage? And then, imagine the marriage ends. Now you need an apartment, first month's rent, deposit, furniture, groceries, insurance, transportation, maybe childcare, maybe a lawyer. And depending on how the finances were structured, you might not even have much credit history or money that's immediately accessible to you. And then comes the job search. You're 42, but professionally you might be trying to restart from where you left off at 28. Except the 28-year-olds you're competing with have current experience, references, certifications, LinkedIn connections. Meanwhile, you're sitting there trying to explain a 14-year resume gap without saying, well, I was actually running an entire household, but apparently we've decided that doesn't count. And here's the part that really gets me. You didn't only lose 14 years of salary, you potentially lost 14 years of raises, promotions, retirement contributions, professional relationships, experience. All those tiny financial advantages that quietly build on each other while you're working. That's why I don't think the lesson here should be, never be a stay-at-home mom. No. If that's what you want and your family can afford it, do your thing. But please have something. Know where the money is. Understand the accounts. Have access to money. Build credit in your own name. Keep some connection to whatever skills or qualifications you have. And if you dropped out of school to get married, maybe consider whether there's a way to eventually finish. Because having an exit plan doesn't mean you're rooting for your marriage to fail. You have car insurance. You're not manifesting a collision every time you pull out of the driveway. It's just, life happens. And if the person who once said, I'll take care of you, ever becomes the person saying, you don't do anything around here anyway, I would really, really like you to have more options than hoping he changes his mind.
Hi, I'm Tori. I'm a 21-year-old stay-at-home mom and wife, and this is part 2 of my hot takes. Yes, if my husband asks me to change a part of my physical appearance, then I will do it to suit his preferences. Unless I'm sick or I have some other issue limiting me, I will never ever say no to intimacy in my marriage because that is something you sign up for whenever you get married. When my husband comes home from work, I always make sure that the house is spotless and that I look nice, have lipstick on, and that I greet him with a smile at the door. We pray before every single dinner in this house. Yes, I am in charge of the budgeting in our household. No, my husband does not get up in the middle of the night with me to help with feedings for our son. I'm the wife and mom, and I take care of the house and our child, so that is my job. And I'm afforded the opportunity to sleep in where he gets up at 6 a.m. every single day. I don't think my husband has changed but like 3 diapers on our son ever since he's been born, and he's 7 months old now.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5.
I'm 37. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 10 plus years.
I got engaged at 18, married at 19.
2 weeks ago, he told me that he wants to move forward with divorce.
I didn't go to college.
I have no income.
I don't have a job.
I have no money.
And I'm not getting one.
I use my husband's credit card and I use my husband's money.
Yes, me and my husband do have an age gap.
I'm 37. He'll be 55 in March.
He is 10 years older than me.
I married an older man thinking that he was ready for marriage and to settle down.
Me and my husband dated for 6 weeks before getting engaged.
I use an American Express credit card for everything. It's got my name on it, but obviously he pays the bill.
And I'm told by a lot of people that I should be young and out there and living my life.
And he said, you need to start using your own card now. What card?
I don't know what that means.
I don't have a card. That is my card.
I promise you I am living my life to the fullest in my faithful marriage.
I don't know how to take care of myself.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5.
I don't, like, what do, it's just, terrifying.
Girl, you don't want to be a trad wife. You want enough money to where all of your needs and most of your wants are taken care of at a job where you have enough time and energy left over to pursue your hobbies, interests, and goals. That's it. That's all. You might not think about it because you've never known life without it, but you like having the ability to live independently and take care of yourself. You like being able to open a bank account or get a credit card without your husband's permission. You like having the money and the resources to be able to leave a relationship, not only when it becomes unsafe or dangerous for you, but simply because you want out. You like not having to make every single thing you consume from scratch just as much as you like knowing that you have the ability and resources to do so if you so choose. You like the idea of having kids if you have the money and resource to do so as much as you like being able to say no if you don't. Okay, capitalism is burning you out. You are overworked and underpaid, and it makes this idea of a life where you are well taken care of and well supported sound real appealing. But all that's happening is that conservatives are repackaging and reselling you the very life your grandmother fought tooth and nail to get away from. You like being able to have a job, babe. You like being able to make your own money. You like that independence. What you don't like is being burnt out by capitalism, and those are actually two separate conversations. Do not get caught up in a far-right pipeline because you are desperate for the economic freedom that you so rightfully deserve.
Somebody buy at jordan.n.simone a coffee. Seriously. Or just go consume her little nuggets of wisdom on TikTok, because I genuinely don't think I could have said that better myself. You've heard from the women who actually lived this. Getting yourself out of the trad wife life once the marriage is over can be incredibly difficult financially. And don't even get me started on the psychological chains, because honestly, that's a whole other video. But I do want to say this. When you've spent years building your identity around being somebody's wife, being needed at home, taking care of the children, supporting his career, making his life easier, you don't just walk away from the marriage and magically become the person you were before it. That person might not even exist anymore. And psychologically, that's where this can get really messy. Because human beings get very attached to roles. We build our identities around them. So if your role for 15 years has been his wife, their mom, the homemaker, losing the marriage can feel like losing the answer to the question, who am I? At the exact same time, you're supposed to be figuring out, okay, so how am I paying rent next month? And there's another thing that I think is important. Dependency can slowly change what you believe you're capable of. If somebody else has handled the money for years, made the big financial decisions, earned the income, maybe even repeatedly reminded you that they're the provider, after a while, you can start believing that they're better at surviving in the world than you are. And that can make leaving feel impossible even before it actually is impossible. That's learned helplessness territory. Not because you're helpless, but because if you've spent years in an environment where your independence isn't practiced, rewarded, or sometimes even encouraged, eventually your brain can start going, well, maybe I really can't do this without them. And girl, that's the part that worries me. Because the way this life has been curated online is cute. It is. The dresses are cute, the kitchens are beautiful, the homemade bread looks fantastic. Half the time I'm watching these videos thinking, damn, maybe I'm doing life wrong. But a lifestyle can look peaceful and still quietly drain you of options. And I think that's really what I want people to take away from this. I'm not telling anybody not to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not telling anybody not to have a traditional marriage. If that's what makes you happy, genuinely, I hope it works beautifully for you. I'm saying don't confuse love with having absolutely no backup plan. Keep something that's yours. Your education, your skills, your credit, your understanding of the finances. Some money you can access. Something that reminds you that if life changes, and life has a nasty habit of doing that, you are still capable of standing on your own 2 feet. And if you've enjoyed this conversation, subscribe. We do this a lot around here. Take the thing everybody's arguing about online and poke at the psychology underneath it until it gets slightly uncomfortable. Like the video too, because apparently that helps YouTube understand that we're having a good time over here. And share this with somebody who is considering this lifestyle. Not to scare them out of it, but because I think conversations like this should be part of the decision too. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys with one final clip. I'm not even going to add much after it because I think we've talked enough. Watch it. Do with it as you please. But if you're watching this and you realize that this advice is for you, girl, take it and run with it.
This is the biggest question that most women ask. How do I transition financially? How do I get out from underneath my husband if he's been the sole provider for all these years? you're gonna have to play his ass. There's no cute way to put it. You're gonna have to pretend. And when you're like, I cannot do this any longer, you kind of switch into like, I feel like it's your last reserves of energy, and that's what you're gonna finally fucking take from. You're gonna click into like ultra fucking good girl mode. You're gonna be the little fucking princess, like if you guys just got married yesterday. He's gonna be shocked at how you have transformed into the perfect fucking wife. Everything is, oh my God, you're right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, honey. You know, we were going to fix everything. That's it. He's right about everything. I'm sorry is the answer to every fucking thing. Because you're going to be asking more of him than you normally do, because you're going to ask him to be paying for a course, a class, whatever the fuck you need to do, because it does take some initiative on your part. You're gonna have to look at your life and what you could fucking piece together. How could you live? Where could you? You're gonna have to imagine he's dead. Imagine what your life is gonna look like. Budget that shit out. Okay, rent is probably gonna be about, I could probably live in that apartment complex over there, or I could live with my sister over here. Whatever the fuck. It's your life. You're gonna have to put those pieces together. And then you're going to know how much money you need. Now you're going to know what kind of job you need. You can either get if your kids are old enough and you can work while they're in school, boom, right there, just get a job. If they're not, you got to get creative. You could either start your own business, take a couple, because anything you do, you're going to have to take a little bit of time to work up. You could start a business like a cleaning business or a cooking business or anything where you get to set the price for, I need to work this many hours. This is how much money I need to make per hour. And this is when I can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's basically time that you take off the stay-at-home mom hat and put on the, like, I'm the leader of my family now, because that's what you're going to be. So you take complete fucking control of your life. And the only way to do that is to really play the little good girl, play his ass, let him think you're playing along, you're doing all the things he wants you to do. But in reality, you're just getting him to support what you need to do so you could get on your feet, because he's going to be suspicious. He's going to be like, why the fuck all of a sudden she wants school, or all of a sudden she wants this. You just keep sucking his dick to silence so that he shuts the fuck up. You could get your shit straight and then leave him when it's time to leave him. You know what I mean? In that time, you tune him out. Do you know what I mean? Just so that you know you have the end is in sight. So it's much easier to play good girl now. Do you know what I mean? So that is my deepest advice to you when you're trying to transition financially and get out. And
What they say about that? Clock it. Clock it. Clock that T. That's what the kids are saying these days.
Oof,
Clock it.
much love and encouragement that you make it out.